dude, if you want to be really raw, so what happened is I applied for being an accounting professor.
Okay.
And I never heard back from them. So I applied for this job somewhere in February, and it was not. I was not even looking at college jobs. My education is in finance. I
Mhm.
have worked in finance industry, so I was looking at finance industry.
Okay.
And one time I was in on Indeed, and I saw this one click apply. So I was like, okay, I'll just click once. What's gonna happen? I
Yeah.
clicked it in February, and then nobody came back to me. I left it. I was like, okay. And in April, suddenly I got a call from them.
Oh,
Like, would
nice.
you be interested? So I was like, okay, this is an accounting professor job, probably.
Hmm.
Because I used to teach back in India as a part-time professor, and accounting used to be my subject. Okay, this is interesting. So I show up to the interview. They conduct interview and everything, and then they're like, so here is a thing. We already have an accounting professor.
Hmm.
Would you be interested to start as an economics professor next week? I'll take it. I don't know jack shit of economics. I was like, I'll take it.
Being aware of not just what you're teaching, but what's actually happening around it with that subject, it's very important.
True.
People, they test you, they try to test you, and then you have to be on the top of your game. So that's pretty interesting, man. Any fun experience so far? Anything that you were like,
Students are naturally very curious. It's just like you need to incite that curiosity in them. I have been teaching for a while now. So what I tell them is that this is not a rocket science. All the things that I'm going to teach you, you already know it. It is just my job to arrange that information in certain way
mm,
where it makes sense. You
yeah,
know A, you know B, you know C. Let me just arrange you in certain way. I just wanted to teach them how economy works. So I bought 50 Timbits from Tim Hortons and
yeah.
I auctioned them in classroom. I gave them fake money and I auctioned them
Oh,
just to
nice.
understand how budgeting works,
Yeah.
how economy works, how things quit gets overpriced when everyone has a lot of money.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, definitely, Chandru, amazing, man. Thanks a lot for mentioning that. So, coming in, and getting into a professor role, which a lot of people are not something that they, first preference, or they even think of applying for a professor role, as an economics professor in Canada now. How have your journey been, man? You came in, before you were looking for a job, you applied, you attended the webinar, and now you're working as an economics professor. So, how your
Yes.
journey has been?
To be very honest, I'm not someone who complains a lot. So I would not say my journey has been a bit of struggle. There have been a phases where I was a little stressful, but I would not say it was a struggle. I think I am a lucky child who has been very blessed. I did not come to Canada to work in a restaurant. I know it pays well. It is not about dignity or anything, but my career needs to go somewhere. I need to find a field job. My school fees done. I quit my restaurant job because I
Mhm.
have like more than 6 months of amount for survival. Then reality hits me. Job market kharab hai. There is
Yeah.
nothing happening. There
Yeah.
are no jobs available. Kuch mil hi nahi raha hai. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? So I start fixing series. I start watching YouTube videos. Then
Mm.
I go to my college seminars.
Mhm.
CV workshops. I go to my college career guidance guys. They give me all the CV advices, but it is all superficial. They were
Mhm.
like, "ये section ऊपर रखो, bring this down, use this font, use this." But nobody is talking about real issues. That
Mhm.
how can you elevate your CV? It is not about formatting. It is not about font. भाई तुम्हारे पास skills नहीं है, add करो वो skills. Nobody is talking about this. I started believing that CV is a scam. All these people who guide CV are scam people.
Mhm.
But then accidentally I stumbled upon your Instagram page. I think you made a series where you were hunting for a job in government sector, like
Yeah.
day one, day two, day three.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was watching that series. One day I saw your Instagram story where you were doing a free seminar. So I was like, free mein gyan bat raha hai, le lete hai. What's the
Mhm.
risk? So I attended that. So you guys touched upon CV and all that. I was like, okay, same typical generic thing.
Mhm.
But then Pratik started talking about how you can upskill yourself, how you can
Mhm.
do certifications, how you can find out, okay, this field requires this one, two, three, four, five things. Stop everything you're doing, get that certification done. I was like, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
This is what needs to be done. Then you guys told us about how you can pay for the services and get things done. And then I was like, okay, I am jobless. Of course, I have money, but that is survival money.
Mhm.
Do I really spend that amount of money in this thing? What if it is a scam? So I think that, but and then I run it by my mom. Okay, I tell her that this happened today and this is what it is. And my mom was like, okay, remember one thing: any
Mhm.
money you spend on your career to grow, it is not an expenditure. It is always an investment. You might spend $200 to $250 now. It might come back to you later with a bigger amount. Look at it as an investment. I took that leap of faith. I joined you guys. You guys made a wonderful CV about that as well. So first, when I saw your CV, I was like, this CV looks very basic. But then I realized that the CVs I was using it used to have all those fancy fonts and symbols, and the ATS system used to throw it out because it was not readable. Slowly I figured out, okay, basic is what's needed. You don't need fancy shit. You need it as minimalistic as possible. So you guys made a CV for me, and then I started applying blindly. Very wrong. Then after a month, I was like, there is nothing happening. What's wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Then I started realizing, okay, I need to tweak my CV according to everything. Then I set up a system on ChatGPT where I just put job description. It will give me updated points and updated cover letter, which used to take me like 10 minutes for everything, and then I used to apply. Then I figured out that if I am applying for banking sectors, my CV needs to be completely different. If I am applying for service sector, CV needs to be completely different. Then I figured out that, okay, my CV is 2 page. Some people want fresher. So I made a new format from that CV, which is 1 page. So from your CV, I made like 4 or 5 different CVs out of it. And I used to customize and apply. And then one fine day, what happens is I get a call from a marketing agency. Would you be interested to interview? I was like, okay, I'll come because I have nothing in my hands.
Yeah.
So I'll come and I'll interview you guys. While I'm interviewing with those guys, phone starts ringing. Of course, it's on silent, and these college guys are calling me. So I come out of that interview. I call these college guys. They're like, "Would you be available for interview tomorrow?" I was like, "Yes, of course." 4 months, I did not have any job. I was with you guys since 2 months, and then suddenly within 12 hours, I have 2 jobs.
Nice.
Yes. So marketing guys, by the end of that interview, they were like, "Okay, we kind of like you, so we might send you an offer letter." उन्होंने मुंह पे बता दिया था. And even same happened with the college guys that we are interested in you. We will send you an offer letter. So from nothing to 12 hours, mein 2 jobs.
That's awesome, brother. I mean, I can see how much have you learned from just being part of, one webinar and, things that you learned from it and, applying it in a different way, tweaking it a little bit here and there. Yes, sometimes it can take a little bit more than expected, but still staying consistent with the process. One thing that I personally like is going for an interview and coming out with another interview. That is something which is pretty amazing, which is not something usual that a lot of people hear in current scenarios with the current job market, which is happening right now. And, coming to the next question, you've been part of the webinar. What was one thing that was a real eye opener that you think that, that is something which has changed your perspective towards looking for jobs?
Everyone talks about how you can change things in CV according to job description, add numbers and all kind of bullshit. I see you guys focused a lot upon upskilling yourself. You don't have the skill? Wait, hang on. This is the website. You can get a free certification done. Spend your time on that. You elevate your CV. You just don't make it look good with fonts and everything. Add real deal to it. So that is one thing that I took from you guys.
Awesome. Prateek, he talks a lot about, setting up the tone.
Exactly. That is also one thing what I did was I made a Word file with all the potential interview questions. If someone asks me something, it should not be in a situation where, oh, what did he ask? I wanted to be prepared. So I used to look at all the interview questions. I used to chat GPT ki kya kya pucha ja sakta hai, mujhe bata. So I had a set answer ready. So very simply, if there is an interview online going on, I would have my Word file open on another device where I at least know what to talk about and how I can touch bases on everything. So I made sure that I was a little bit prepared.
When you have an idea of, okay, what are the things that can be asked during an interview, at least थोड़ा सा दिमाग में idea हो ना तो वो answers बनाने में easy हो जाता. Last thing that I wanted to ask you is, a lot of people, you came into our free webinar, and I know out there are a lot of things happening. There are a lot of scams happening. I personally lost $1,200 when I was in my first year in a CRS.
Wow.
18-year-old kid. I've started working in a restaurant as well. Saved up that money. They don't even used to give me tips, so it was like only minimum wage.
Oh goodness.
It just went away in a scam. So I know how hard it can be, to trust, to meet the right people. And which later on, I mean, because I had a very good network with people and somebody knows someone in Scotiabank, I was able to get 90% of refunded. I know that there are a lot of scams out there. It's very hard sometimes to trust what is legit, what is not. And that's one of the things that I personally recommend a lot of people to attend the free webinar, see, feel it, how it is, and then make a decision. Then see if this is something for you or not, because it is, of course, not for everybody. So yeah, you came into the free webinar, you decided of going into job and webinar. How did you make that? I know you had a discussion with your mom on it, but if you had to give one piece of advice to someone who wants to sign up, but who's a little bit hesitant of, is it going to work for me or not? What would you want to say to them?
Sometimes you got to take that leap of faith. Spending money on yourself for betterment of yourself is never an expenditure. It's always an investment. You might not get returns today, not tomorrow, not 1 year, but you would definitely get it sometime. Okay, so that is one thing. I would also say that by just joining Job Hunt webinar, there's nothing going to happen. You also need to be smart enough to put that hard work in. Job and webinar is your way to guide people of how you can do things, what you can do. But it is eventually you have to do things. So you need to put in that effort of applying jobs every day. Do not get disheartened by rejections. You might be able to figure out on your own. You might get your own job. You might be able to figure out these kind of websites, these kind of resources, what to do, what not to do. But that process involves a lot of falling down and injuring yourself and then getting up and running again. If someone else has done it, why would you not want to pay for their experience? So I'm thinking about learning French and getting my PR journey done because I just have 3 years now.
When you know French, you can apply to every government job out there. You can get a higher salary in public sector if you know French. There's so many benefits of having this great language. But again, वो commitment वो मुश्किल होता है. People are ready to spend $40,000 on LMI and they're not ready to invest $1,000 on French. But yeah, so we are planning on starting a batch from next month. I'll keep you posted.
Yes, please. I'm interested.
A free session for it as well. So you can join a free session, see how it works, if you like the professor or not, if you like the teaching style or not. And if you want to continue, feel free to, we can.
Of course.
And Chandra, another thing is that we are also trying to build is we are building a WhatsApp group for all the people who come in, they join us and they land their role that they wanted. So we are making a circle of mentors there to just stay connected. And then if we have any students that we can in the future help somebody, I'm looking for a job in my team, if there's anybody who wants. So we're making a small tight-knit group of mentors. So if you would be open, I can add you in that WhatsApp group.
Oh yeah, surely.